As we begin, just to do a few introductions and also some housekeeping. My name is Bankole Ojo Medubi, the managing partner for Parasol BPO. And for those of you who are attending for the first time, what Parasol does is that we connect Nigerian talents to Western businesses. We one of the key reasons why these businesses choose to work with us is because we de-risk the issue of them working with Nigerian talent. So if you are getting a job through us, you have to work from one of our facilities. The reason why is because these employers don't want to hear that the national grid collapsed. They don't want to hear that MTN workers decided to go on strike. They don't want to hear that, oh, for whatever reason, maybe your landlord is banging on your door. They want the talent that they are working with to work from a very professional environment that enhances their productivity. I would have shared an image with you guys today about the biggest remote populations. India has by far the biggest remote population, I think followed by, I can't remember the second country, but the last one is actually the Philippines, and they are growing really rapidly. So that's why they decide to work with us. The purpose of this AMA is we know that one of the biggest factors in opening people's minds to know that things are possible is when they see people like them that have done it. That's one reason. The other reason is that, you know, we've been talking about what we do with Parasol, and for a lot of people, they feel like, okay, maybe we're lying, you know, maybe like we're one of those churches that we used to, you know, be doing fake miracle up and down. Why would people be going around trying to hire Nigerians to work? And we're begging them, please come and work with American companies. That they're like, it's too good to be true. But one of the reasons why we're doing this is for you to also see that this is a real opportunity, and it's an opportunity that you can take part of. And you can see how, like, and the final reason is these people will be sharing their journeys and you will be learning things from their journey. Now, everybody's journey is different. The reason why we're talking to multiple our associates, different associates, that what maybe Kate or Anna spoke about 2 weeks ago does not apply to you. And it might be what in Nkechi's story now that you might actually find some similarities in and see some lessons that you can now use to be able to transition from somebody who can only work within a local economy into someone who can compete globally. So with that said, I'm going to invite Nkechi up. But before I start, once again, for those of you that have just joined, I'm going to paste, because I think in the chat, if you join messages that have been pasted before, you won't be able to see them. So I'm posting two links. One, if you want to join the Parasol Talent Pool, the link is there. Two, if you want to get updates on our job openings, trainings, and other opportunities, you can join our WhatsApp group with the link there. All right, so with that said, let's get started. I'm going to be inviting, I don't want her head to swell, but she's one of my favorite people in Parasol. I'm going to be inviting Nkechi up to let's speak with her, find out, talk about her journey, how she joined Parasol, what she was doing before, what she's now doing, how she went from A to Z, and in fact not Z, because she's still going to do fantastic things. And you know, just what are her lessons that she can share with us that would help other people in this space. So, and I keep telling you guys, look, these guys work really hard during the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturdays and Sundays are like gold. And she has volunteered to share with us. So let's really appreciate her for that. And with that said, let's get started. Nkechi, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Just to say,
Okay.
I was telling her before we joined the meeting that she abandoned me, but you know, it's all right. I forgive her because, you know, So, all right, so let's get into it. So what's going to happen is I'll just take her through a few questions to get some basics, like how she started, where she got from, and all that. And then in the meantime, if you have any questions, please post it in the chat. And then after that, if you want to ask it, then you ask it. But if you are a bit shy or anything, or a question occurs to you in the moment, please paste it in the chat. Then from that point, we will address it. All right. So, Nkechi, um, let's start off with your journey, your career journey into this role. So, what was your background? Or, like, what did you do in school?
Okay, so in school I studied computer science. Yes, I actually wanted to be a medical doctor, but jammed me, so I did that several times, and I actually discovered that I had a phobia for blood. So even if I had the brains for it, I knew eventually I was going to do poorly. So I decided to drop and then do something. And after years, I felt, oh, I could go for computer science, and that was it. I went for computer
Mm.
science and I graduated. And after service, I found myself doing customer service in one of Nigeria's biggest e-commerce organizations. I started my journey as an inbound agent, something called frontline, meaning you pick calls, you attend to customers, and I was good at my job. I grew and started attending to emails, and from responding to emails, I transitioned to social media. I was on the social media team in my company, my former organization. And from there, I transitioned to the quality assurance team, where I eventually left as the lead. So in the quality assurance team, I was part of my job was ensuring that customer service criteria were met up for customers. So we actually had key things we we're looking out. We used our SOP, standard operating procedure. We train agents, onboard new agents, make sure they are telling customers the right thing, make sure they are being helpful and providing resolution. So that was my most, or that was my oldest job before I transitioned to my current role now.
All right. But it sounds like you are balling there now. Why did you want to leave?
Okay, so no matter how good it is you think you are in a place, there's also room for more. There's always room for more. There's always room to grow. And the thing was, in my former place of work, there is a level of growth you can achieve. And I believe I had gone through most of that. I think the only outstanding positions I didn't hold were being maybe a supervisor of the call center and being the head. And in Nigeria, good jobs are really, really hard to get. Truth be told, it's very
Mm.
difficult to find good, well-paying jobs. So if anybody is going to be transitioning and leaving their former roles, it's really going to be that they are getting something very lucrative. So my head of department and the manager, nobody was willing to resign. And I on the other hand, I was looking, I was looking for better opportunities. So when the opportunity for Parasol came up, I gave it a thought, and I decided to go with it.
All right. So now that you've carried Parasol into the gist, how did you find us?
I actually found out through a friend. You know, when you just have this gist to your friend and you're just like talking, today was my supervisor, my lead, and all of that, and you're talking, oh, they get under me. And it was like, oh, I know about one place, Parasol. I said, Parasol. I said, what do they do? I think the first thing did was look them up. I said, what did they do? When he told me everything, I said, guy, are you sure they are real? He said, oh, yes, I've seen their office and all. I said, so do you know anybody that's employed? He said, yes, he has two guys. I said, are you sure? He said, yes. I said, okay, send the link. I think it's one of these links. I said, send the link. And he sent the link, and I clicked on it, and I filled my details. And at the back of my head, I was not really expecting to be contacted, but I was like, in this kind of thing, you try everything, tryable. Once you have links, you try, you apply, you keep trying till you get the particular one you're looking out for. So that was what I did. God bless Tony. I heard about Parasol from Tony.
Interesting. You are actually part of our first training cohort. Why did you decide to do it? Because it wasn't cheap. How much did you people pay? Was it 75,
100.
100K?
Yeah,
100K.
I had
So
100K
like
to pay for that
it's
time.
that's to drop 100K on some people that you heard about through Tony Well, that's conviction. Why did you feel that you had, why did you do that? And what did you see that made you convinced that that was what you would need to do?
Before I made that payment, we had a webinar section for about an hour, and I joined. And back here, you anchored it. I listened to what you had to say. And after that, I still went back to my drawing board with Tony. And Tony was like, Nkechi, just try. I said, guy, 100K. He said, just try. I said, okay. I said, but you yourself, are you going to join? Tony said, yes, now I've paid. I said, you've paid. Ah, okay. And you say you have two friends already. I said, okay, I'll pay. And then I paid. And after paying, Parasol reached out to me. So the good thing about Parasol is it's not just about paying. They have this kind of standard they are trying to uphold. So they reached out to me. It was Baki still, and interviewed me, like trying to get an idea of my current level, where I was, and all of that, to know if I could. And then, good news, we had our cohorts. The cohort was interactive, it was engaging. And then for me, it was kind of draining a bit. I'll say draining because I worked 8 to 5,
Mm.
coupled with traffic going home. And during that period, my son took ill. And then I'll be juggling assignments because we used to have assignments. They're trying to, I would not say format our brain, they're trying to change our thinking, change our perspective, change how we react to things as Nigerians to the American version. So for me, it was a bit easy because I had some basic customer service experience. Yes, so it was a bit easy for me. But the assignments, turning them over, coming to class on Saturday, getting blastings and lashings, you could have done this better. Yeah, I think you said this well. But when you're answering your questions, you use this method, you use that method. It was kind of draining. At the point, I saw myself carrying paper up and down, writing my thoughts down, and trying to rehearse them in my head and say, okay, no, say it this way. No, don't say it this way. And I think it shaped me, and it actually made me a better person, I must say.
That's very interesting. I can remember, well, there was one time I think we were doing your one-on-one check-in session, and you were actually in the hospital with your son at that time. And for me, it was really impressive. When I say that Nkechi is one of my favorite people in Parasol, is because of her determination. Like you attended every class, like you didn't miss anything, turned in every assignment. And those things are one of the things I say about our trainings. I say to the people in our trainings is that, look, if you go through our training and by the end of it, we're like, you know what, we don't want to recommend you. That means that we've worked with you for what, 4 to 6 weeks, and we've seen you up close more than looking at your CV and 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 interviewing you. We've dealt with you and we see that you are not there. But at the same time, it's also a fantastic opportunity for us to get to see you and see what your temperament is. And that was one of the things that I really loved about Nkechi. Nkechi was very, very committed, very, very determined, very, very reliable with her workload. And you can see all she was dealing with in the background. So to me, it's not a surprise that she's where she is now. But anyway, so run us through the journey. After the training, what happened next?
Okay, so I was about to end my training. I think a week before the training ended, I was informed that there was going to be a job opportunity with a US firm, a chamber in the US, and I was told to prepare. Okay, so I prepared. I prepared myself for questions. I read up interview questions for customer service. I even tried to read up how Americans analyze their questions when they ask customer service interactions. And Baki actually made it very easy for me during the interview in the sense that um, every every interaction, every journey is actually a story, and how you tell it sells you. And I think with that information, that nugget I picked, I was able to express myself better in the interview. The interview came, it was the first stage, and they liked me. And then they said they were going to get back to me Getting back to me, I was then provided with information about the company and then told to read up. And I think I had another interview in about 4 days or 5 days thereabouts. I guess the importance of that was to maybe see my comprehension abilities, how well I could comprehend or go through things and understand and assimilate them also. And yes, so I went through and I was successful. So it was time for onboarding, and I was onboarded at the PBO, the BPO by Parasol. It was actually seamless. My work tools and everything was provided, and when it was time for work, I commenced working.
What was your first few weeks? What were they like? What was it like adjusting from a Nigerian from working? How long were you with your previous company?
Okay, I was with my previous organization for about 10 years. I stayed
Mm.
with them. I think that was the only job I held.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
because sometimes when I try to look out for other opportunities, it's either the distance was too far and I'll be spending a huge chunk of the pay on salary. So it was like I was working for the roads, and I was like, what's now the need? Why not just stay where you want? The salary, the pay, the TP, the transportation wouldn't kill so much, wouldn't drain so much. Better than so I said to stay back where I was until at a time when you know you've stayed in a place for long. When you've stayed in a place and you know you've overstayed, you just know, and I guess that was why I went about it with everything I had in me. I just knew I wanted something different. I was looking out for a different opportunity. And I
Mm.
just did not want to be caught unawares when the opportunity came. So I gave
Mm.
it my all.
All right. So if you had to point out what's been the biggest difference? Or no, let's start with what was the first week like for you?
First week, like for me. So the first week for me was onboarding.
Mm.
Seeing as I was working remotely, I was working on my own. I got to meet my team members. I learned about what they do, and some of them shared some documents with me. And we actually have a training portal we use to liaise with our members. I was giving the details. So it was more of a learning week for me. I was trying to put so much into my head at the same time from different program managers, and but everybody was helpful.
Mm.
Everybody was helpful. Yes, I got all the support I needed. So it was seamless for me. I was just informed to learn. So I used to have my check-in sections, and during my check-in sections, I get to ask my manager questions, even check-ins with my colleagues. I ask them questions, and they are helpful, and that brought me up to speed.
All right. Did you ever have the issue where maybe you you didn't like to ask questions and they didn't like that at all? They kept encouraging you. How was that?
I didn't get your questions, please.
No, I mean that there are people who, when they get into a new place, they don't like to ask questions because they don't want to act like they don't know. So how did you deal with that?
Why would I be pretending like I didn't know? Obviously, I knew nothing about it. So, what was there to
Okay.
pretend about? I needed to be a sponge. And I think one thing my manager would say is he really liked the fact that I was a sponge. I was ready to assimilate everything and anything possible. And I think that was because of my background as a QA person. As a QA
Mm.
person, you don't just assimilate things. When you are told of processes, you query processes. You query things and you ask why. Okay, if we're informing customers about this, did we think about this area or all of that? So I think that helped me. But
Mm.
I didn't have issues because I actually was there to learn, and that's what I did.
Fantastic. What would you say in your particular role? So what's your role? Like what's the name of your role and what do you do like on a daily basis?
Okay, so I am a membership support specialist. It's similar to something like being a customer support specialist. I liaise with members. Members reach out to me. I respond to their queries, their requests, whatever their requests are, I help them with it. I help them with renewing their memberships. And if they have challenges, I help them out with that already. And for our communications, our engagement with members, I'm responsible for pushing them out. So if I and my manager are talking, no, we need to do this. I say, oh, okay, okay, okay. And then I have the email ready by the next meeting. Or I give him a time frame saying, okay, I would work on something like this and I'll share with you XYZ period. And then I do that. So everything communication for the membership goes through me. And that's
Hmm.
why I'm the membership support specialist. So anything membership is my job. Setting up
Okay,
new memberships, deactivating whatever memberships, it's on me.
interesting. So, in this role that you're doing, what would you say are the skills that you have that they seem to value the most?
Mm. Time management. Knowing you work remotely, your employer wants to count on you turning up tasks promptly and on time. They might not look like a deadline to you, but something you do not do on time could actually affect the business. So my timeliness is one thing I know is valued very well. Critical thinking. Sometimes I bring ideas to the board. So it's not like I just sit in and I listen to him talk and I go. I am proactive. So sometimes we have our meetings and it's like anything. I say, oh, where I used to be, sometimes we used to do X, Y, Z. I think if we did that or if we run that, it could help. And then we'll put our brains together, we'll think together and then come up with something better. So that's one thing he likes about me. And another thing my employer likes about me is I keep to time. Aside time for what's the name? Aside time for turning in tax, I think right now, if for any reason, let's say tomorrow, I have a meeting and I do not turn up at all, my manager wouldn't be offended. Making a
Hmm.
first impression matters. He's very used to the fact that anytime we have meetings, I turn in on time. So I check in, I'm there like 3, 4 minutes ahead. And then there was a day I checked in and he was there. And I was like, oh wow, you're here early today. What happened? And he was like, if I surprise you for once, it's not bad. And I'm like, oh, I see, I see. Oh, you're giving it back to me, right? Okay. So we laughed about that. So if tomorrow we're having a meeting and I say, please, something came up, can we push back for 10 minutes? Oh, fine, fine, that's good, I'm fine. And that's because of the impression I've set already. It says Nkechi
Hmm.
is never late. But I know one day I could be late intentionally. Yes. Then another thing is being accountable. I hold him
Hmm.
accountable. Anytime I
Hmm.
do tasks and I push them, say I've done my part and I push it to a program manager or anybody, and I know the task is not completed, like there are still some things the person needs to follow up with a member. I don't just let it go because it's off my desk. I'm a
Hmm.
I'm a membership support personnel. I'll follow up with you. I'll say, please, have you reached out to the member? Have you concluded? Have you finalized? And if you've forgotten, you say, oh, I'll circle back. I'll get back to it in a day or two or something. So that's another thing he likes about me.
Hmm.
And it suits
Fantastic.
me.
Fantastic. From what I'm hearing, it tallies with something that we hear from employers a lot. And I've said it multiple times. There are two words that they keep talking about, that we like candidates that are confident and dynamic. And the dynamic part, confidence is straightforward. Like, you can speak up for yourself, you can contribute and all that. But dynamic, what does that mean? That basically means that you're a problem solver. Like, you are proactive and you're a problem solver. So like, you're somebody who doesn't wait to be told what needs to be done, you do it. And at the same time, if there's a problem, you find a way to fix it. And from me, that's what I'm hearing in a lot of what you are saying. You're someone who like doesn't wait for what needs to be done to be done. All right. So what if, I think we'll get to that. But in terms of like, what would you say about maybe something that you found difficult? Yes, a lot of these other things you are like doing it like, but what's something that you found difficult to deal with once you now changed companies? What was
Mm.
one of the hardest things to adapt to?
The hardest thing was understanding their system. And that was because the other persons in the business did not even know about the system. Before then, they had somebody who used to be their membership support personnel. And the person left. And because that person was dedicated to it, they had no idea. So I want to send an email. No idea. okay, this thing you're telling me to do, how do I do? Oh, just ask the support person. So during that 1 month, basically, it was more of an onboarding for me. I would go to our hub, download videos, watch. I think that period, some of those support persons, God bless them, were tired of me. Because if you happen to chat with me, just know you stay there for 1 hour, two. At the time, somebody even just said, you know what, I chatted back and ended my chat. And I'm like, ah, this person is very rude. But I don't blame him because the questions were coming back to back. At the time, he was even giving headache. I felt sorry for them, but no, no, no. It was something I had to do. And most of them got to know me that way. I had tickets raised. I said, so I don't understand what you're saying. And the person would tell me, would send pictures. I say, okay. And the funny thing is, you cannot discharge me and tell me go do it. While you are there chatting with me, I'll tell you I'm on it. Please hold. And then I start doing. I'll say, this is what I did. It's not coming up well. I'll screenshot. I'll share. So you could stand and chat with me for 2 hours. In short, if you ask me any other thing for now, and I say no, I'm fine. Within 10 seconds, that agent will end that chat. And I'm like, am I a horrible person? I'm not. So it was actually learning. Nobody knew anything about their system, so I just had to
Mm,
learn. And thank God I had videos. So
mm. So now that you've learned the system, has it given you any advantage?
yes, it has. Sometimes we have our meetings, and my manager is like, "Oh, we need to." And while he's talking, I've done it, and I say, "Oh, please refresh." I said, "Does that look good to you?" He says, "I said, okay, that's done." So it's helped me be better at my job. It's helped me be better at my job. So that's just it. Helps me.
That's interesting. So we'll soon round up. How has this role impacted you, your career, your life? What's been the difference for you?
I'll talk about my life, then I'll talk about my career.
Mm,
It's giving me more time for myself as a person. I would say that because now sometimes I feel like I have 2 days in one, some days, in the sense that I can wake up, wash, take my child to school, and then prepare and go to work. I think before now, washing was strictly weekends because what time do you want to do the washing and do all of that? So I could even go to the market if I wanted to. I could even make my hair. I could just do basic things during the early hours of the day before it's time for work. So I think I like have 2 days in one, some
mm,
days.
mm.
So it's giving me more time for my personal time, which I like. Yeah. So then how has it impacted me career wise? It has actually taught me more of responsibility. So I know how to manage myself better now. Yes. It has also opened my eyes to more opportunities. I know, yes, I'm not there yet because finally I know there are still way, way more opportunities out there. So I just know that right now that working remotely is actually possible. And
Mm,
that alone, it's like a mind blower for me. So
mm.
now is how now to earn more. How do I earn more in foreign currency? That's what I'm thinking now. What do I
Yeah.
need to do to better myself? And yes, I'm just thinking money. And you know now our government is increasing tax. Back here, please, I'll circle back to you on that too. I'll circle back to you on that. So, and we need more money. Funny enough, I'm sorry, I don't know if it's a Nigeria thing, but when you earn that thing you think you wanted to earn, you suddenly find out you want to earn more. And I'm sure when I even get that one, I'll still want to earn more. So
It never ends.
that's just that
All right.
for me.
All right. So let's round up then. Some people already, I think Uko is already asking a few questions in the chat, and then I'm sure some other people want to ask a few questions. So what um what would be your advice for people who are trying to enter this space? Try and remember, like where you were before you started your journey into remote work, and like what would be your advice to people who are trying to get into this space? Would you say have a friend like Tony? Would you what's the advice that you would give?
Okay. The very first thing is you're already privileged to have access to this group, this chat, this link. I didn't have access to any of that. So Tony was my access to getting the link, to even joining the webinar. Yes. So the good thing is you're already starting, you already have access to this. Now you need someone to hold your hands and lead you and show you the way. I remember I told back then that it's not like I hadn't tried remote opportunities, but there are many fraudulent ones out there that would require you to commit some dollars or something, not even for training. I didn't pay for an interview. I paid for the training and then the opportunity to. And I believe that during my cohort section, we even had somebody come interview us live. So it was the opportunities that were coming. So now that you are interested in doing this, the opportunity is here. Sometimes on the WhatsApp group, they have free trainings you can join. You keep brushing yourself until you are exactly what is being looked for. I believe during my cohort training sections, there's some persons who didn't even do the training and they got jobs instantly because they're already up to standard. So you already know your weaknesses. I know one of my weaknesses was talking out, and I don't really talk to my members that much, but I know it's going to come up soon, so I'll still go back and brush myself up on that. Identify your weaknesses, and then in the course of the training, you'll be given tips. The way it works in Nigeria is not the way it works over there all the time. We have some similarities here. The similarities that are here, polish them. The differences that are there that you think would upskill you, please work on them. And the thing is, for every section that we used to have in our cohort training section, we used to have constructive feedback. Constructive feedback will tell you, oh no, when you ask the question, this and this and this are the ways you answer. This thing you said, yes, but you could have said it better. So I took those constructive feedback. You need to be open to feedback. Nobody is out to demean you or to bring you down or talk you down. You might be a champion where you are currently now. That's good, but you can be better. So be open to constructive feedback. Um, Read more, browse more, learn more, do trainings until you just get to where you want. That's
Mm.
just it.
All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. So I think we'll just end that there because some people are already asking questions, and I think we'll have to start addressing them. Uko, the first question I ask you, what trainings do you offer? You know what? I will, because I might talk for a bit on that. Let's just move on to the next one, but I'll come back to that, Uko. So don't worry, I'll respond to that. Uko is also asking Nkechi, what's the pay range? And sorry, if you
Okay.
have any questions you want to ask, raise your hand, then I'll call on you. Yes.
Okay, so the pay range is actually dependent one on your, how would I say it, on your category. You have customer service. Definitely customer service and tech would not end the same. You have customer service, you have techs, you have the developers. Even here in Nigeria, everybody doesn't end the same. The pay range is very lucrative. Yes, it's what's leaving your Nigerian job. Except you work in an oil company in Nigeria, then maybe you could say, oh my, but the pay range is is really lucrative. It's competitive. Then compared to earning in foreign pay and compared to Naira. Before now, Naira was really depreciating. I think it's appreciating now. And I
Mm-hmm.
know sometime in the future it's still going to depreciate. I know. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm still at advantage. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really competitive. And just like in a Nigerian organization, you might be unable to say your pay with your colleagues and all. So I might not be at the liberty to say, but it is worth it. I left my job of 10 years
Mm.
with no idea of how the future was going to look. And I must say it's worth it.
All right. So, Uko, I know that this is something that will be key to you. I'll try. I am in a position to talk about it more than Ikechi can. So, just to give a bit of context, in the US, it's called not even just professionally, it is discouraged to talk about what you earn publicly. In Nigeria, is not a problem. Because she's coming to talk here now, we don't want a situation where her bosses see it and she's talking about what she earns. All right. But I can speak to it a bit. And I'm going to talk a bit in generalities. The lowest, so like she said, there's a variety of what people earn. The more technical your role, so things like software development, let's say software development, cloud engineer, all those kind of. So the more technical your role, which there's a higher demand for, the higher you earn. That can be anything from 600 to 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 salary, depending on your stack, depending on, you know, the company, depends on a lot of things. All right. Then there are more generalist roles. So kind of things like executive assistants, admin assistants, maybe even digital marketers. The lowest that anybody gets paid in Parasol is $300, $300, the lowest, which comes to about what? That's about 450K. To give you guys context, you're like, oh, it's not 450K. What was that? Only 2.4% of Nigerians earn more than 200,000 naira a month. Just to give you context, only 2.4% of Nigerians, and this came from MoneyPoint's data analytics department, only 2.4% of Nigerians earn more than 200K a month. And that means 97.6% of Nigerians earn 200K or less. So that means that if you get our lowest paying job in that comes through Parasol, it's more than 2 times that. All right. So I'm speaking in, like I said, I'm speaking in generalities so that Nkechi doesn't have to share anything confidential. All right. So Shiba Bakut, do you train for industries like cybersecurity? I think what I'll do is that I'll take Shiba's question and Uko's question together. All right. So I'll talk about trainings. Now, currently, we don't offer specialized trainings. All right. We don't offer specialized trainings like cybersecurity, like software development and all that. Most likely we might have to soon, and I'll explain why. But the current training that we do is what we call the career catalyst training. It's quite simply what we've seen, that there are a list of skills that are critical, even for the software engineers, even for the cybersecurity people, even for digital marketers, even for these skills are what I would call like the new literacy. Like these are things that if you want to be competitive globally, you have to know these skills. And what are these skills? These skills include communication. You need to know how to communicate. Anybody who has been attending these webinars, everybody that has come up, you can see that all of them are elite communicators, from Anna to Kate to Nkechi. All of them are clear communicators. That is critical. And when I say communicate, I'm not talking about you just know how to speak English. Is that you know how to speak in an effective way that is clear, compelling, and concise. You're not rambling. You're making straight points within a professional setting. So communication, you need to know how to sell. You need to have organizational skills, which project management or this kind of basic project management will give you. You need to have basic data analytics skills, know how to use Excel. All right. What else? I'm missing a few, but these are the things that also how to present yourself on paper, how to present yourself in pixels, how to present yourself in person. That's how to draft your CV properly, how to what they call it, how to interview properly. All right. So those are the things that we cover. That look, whatever role, because what they call it, Nkechi is in member support. Kate is in admin. What they call it, Anna is in HR. These are different roles, but there are some things that are critical across all roles. So that's what our trainings cover. Okay, that whatever I can see Ahmad here. From Ahmad, I think Ahmad, you're a data annotator, right? So there's somebody here who's probably doing cybersecurity. There are other people who are doing other stuff and everything. Still, for you to be able to work globally, there are certain things that you need to, that is basic. You need to know how to do this. Even I think Kechi, in your training, we did assertiveness training too now. How not
Yeah.
to be a doormat, like how to, you can see how she's harassing the people she's working with for information that she needs to do her work well. You need to know how to do that and communicate. So you can fight for what you want without being rude. Do you understand? If she's rude, it doesn't matter what she's asking for. They will say they don't want to work with her. But she knows how she's asking for these things. It's a skill. It's a skill. So these are all the things that we cover in things like the communication part of it. So we cover this stack of courses and this stack of modules together. So that's what that's the current training we have. We will start developing some other trainings, and I'll speak about that maybe, but I kind of gone on a bit for that. So I think that addresses Uko and Shiba's question. Demola, my question is, how much do you charge for your training? We'll get back to you on that. We'll get back to you on that. We were charging 100,000. We need to pay people and all that, but we're charging 100,000. I don't know whether we'll keep it at that 100 or we might need to raise it, or who knows. God help us, we're able to bring down the price. Who knows? So, Nkechi, I don't know. Do you want to say anything about trainings? Well,
Okay,
as
so
somebody who participated in it, like, can you speak more to it?
the purpose of the training basically is to brush up on what you have already. And that's why before you join the training, you have the pre-interview section with somebody on the team. So the training is very comprehensive, and there's this doggedness to it. It would work you, it will stretch you, but the goal is to make you better. And while at the training, you will get feedbacks, you get materials to understudy, you get videos to listen to at your own time. So that's how the training was for us. And then we used to have this classroom on Google where we could ask ourselves questions. So aside having our instructors, we could liaise with ourselves and ask questions. I think the goal for that was team building, working together as a team and all. We used to have that, and then but basically it was worth it coming from
Mm.
where I was. And the thing was, it was already a while I had comprehensive training. So I took that with me. And aside taking that with me, I was determined that I was going to get something fruitful from it. And that was that for me.
Mm. Fantastic. Uko is asking, so after the training, what next? Well, like I said, for us, I think in Kechi, the training was about 4 to 6 weeks before
Yeah.
before the training finished. I think we had already called Nkechi to come and interview for a role. All right. So what I would say, look, we like to guarantee, we would like to feel very confident that you will get a job, right? But the thing is that we're not the ones who can get a job for you. If there's anything that you've seen from this interview with Nkechi, you can see that she's a very determined person. If you don't take anything from it, she's a very determined person. I can't train that into Nkechi. That's all Nkechi. Do you understand? I can't do that. All we could do was give her the information, and she used it and used it well. Do you understand? So but if there's another thing that you have seen with all the people that have come to and spoken here, is that we take support very seriously. We'll support you in everything. We'll give you everything. Well, who was talking about last week? Was it last week that Kate was talking about before her interview, Linda was calling her over and over again. Hey, even for your interview, we'll tell you, come to our office and use our interview so that the internet won't mess you up. So we'll hold your hand, but in the end, you are responsible for your outcome. All right? So what will the training do for you, however? It will prep you. It will prep you solidly. And like I said last week, there was one of the people, it was sad, his accent was very thick. But and I told him as much, I'm sorry, we can't recommend you for the American roles. But he has been able to get a job now with an oil company that is paying him up to 4 or 5 times more than what he was earning before. So this information that everything that we share during the training is not, and like it's not, oh, we download it, ChatGPT, download it from Google or whatever. A lot of the information we're using in the training is as a result of, 1, we're talking to the employers, 2, we're sitting in on the interviews, 3, we're interviewing people that get fired from our roles. We do exit interviews and we gather all the data. And 4, people that are doing well, like Nkechi, like Kate, like Anna, like all these people, we also meet with them and like, hey, how far? How is it going? What's happening? Why do you think you are doing well in this role? And those things, we work on them also. We put them into the trainings also. All right. So that's really why I think the training is very high quality. Because, and the other thing is this, I don't underestimate this. We're not Jesus. It's not out of just the goodness of our heart. If we are able to do the training and you are able to get the role, it's an advantage for us. So we are invested in your success. That's another thing. All right. So let me address Demola's question. The training is for how many months? About, let's say, 4 to 6 weeks. We'll do 4 to 6 weeks. And then that's it. So it's a crash course. It's supposed to be really intense for a short period of time. But the aim is that by the end of it, you're a different person. You are capable of different things. You can now play in different spaces. All right. Okay, we have 7 more minutes. Does anybody else have any questions? All right, that looks good. So if you have any questions, you raise your hands while we're closing up. Here's the thing. If you are interested in the training, what I'll do is that on our website, we have a place where people can show their interest in their training. I'm posting the link in the chat. It's just simple. Well, the reason why we don't, like, look, in Parasol, we have a small, very dedicated team. When we do the trainings, it does take up a bit of our time. So that's why we don't do it regularly. If you are interested, you fill this course interest form. I've put the link inside the chat. You fill the course interest form. That's how we'll know that, okay, there's a demand for the training. Also, once you now fill the course interest form, one of the questions is whether you want a one-on-one Q&A. So you can do that. We'll now get in touch with you and then have a one-on-one Q&A session with you to find out, okay, this is where you are, this is where you want to go. Okay, maybe the training is a good fit for you, or maybe it's not. All right. And then you decide whether you want to proceed. Okay. And it's not only whether it's a good fit for you, it's whether we think you're a good fit for us. Because here's the thing. I want to start explaining this. Like, our candidates, we generally rate them tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 1 candidates are people that we feel can go into jobs immediately. So they don't need any training outside of what their employer can provide for them. Tier 2 candidates is where we'll say people like Nkechi were before the training, which is smart, capable, able to deliver, but they are just not aware of certain information. Then tier 3 candidates are people that, look, you need to go and learn the basics again from the beginning. Our training is for people moving from tier 2 to tier 1. So we can't perform miracles. What we can do is upgrade your career desirability, your employer desirability, make you more employable if you already have some basics in place. All right. So if you're interested in that, just show your interest. Click on the link. I've already pasted the link. You see training, you see a button there that says join our waiting list. Just join there and everything. If we see there's enough interest, we'll probably now start putting together a training to do for you guys that will address this. Uko is also asking, do you have a social media presence? Yes, we are on LinkedIn. David, are you there? We're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. I think just look for Parasol BPO. Please, can you post the links for our LinkedIn? Let me see whether I can find it. So all these, I can get you the LinkedIn now, but I'm not sure I can get you the others on short notice. I probably should make sure I have them on hand now. That should make things easier for everybody. So you can go over there. We also share stuff there and all that, and you can follow us and get updates. All right. So that said, I think we're done. Nkechi, once again, thank you very much. Really appreciate you sharing your time with us. Okay, yes, the LinkedIn link is in the chat. And if the other ones they are available too, just also share. So thank you for sharing your time with us. Really appreciate it. I'm sure that there are people here who have heard things that will now give them direction in how they want to move in their career. We're not saying that, look, for you to enter remote space, you have to go with Parasol. But all I know is that if we are able to work with you and we feel that we're trying to help people get more opportunities in this space. For those of you that don't know, President Trump of the US just increased the amount that they pay for H-1B visas from $1,000 to $100,000. Now, what does that mean? American companies in the US used to pay for visas for workers to bring workers into the US, and it cost $1,000. So what they would do was that they were basically importing workers into the US. Now that Trump has increased that money to $100,000 per worker, it is going to force American companies to now offshore their jobs to places like India, the Philippines, and in Nigeria to people like us. So there are going to be a lot of opportunities. All right. The opportunities, we are currently struggling to meet the demand that we are facing. For everybody that is here, you know that and has been in the community, we've been trying to hire 30 cybersecurity analysts. I'll tell you people straight. Yesterday, we submitted for it. They are going to start interviewing on Monday. We were not able to get 30. We got 24. The demand is more than what we can meet, but you need to put yourself in the right positions. All right. So once again, Nkechi, I thank you so much. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
No, I do not have at the moment. You've said it all.
Don't you want to advise people on what to do next?
Well, we can only show them the way in the right direction, but you can just take a horse to the stream, but you can't force it to drink, obviously. All right. So for everybody, the thing is, if you are tired of where you currently are, then I think now is a good time to just take a step. And the good thing is you would have someone holding your hands and guiding you. You would not just be going into this remote thing blindly. I know before now, there were some sites I tried to get remote jobs, and by the time you finish everything, they'll tell you no hiring for Nigeria. It wouldn't show when you're trying to maybe when you're trying to apply, but by the time you've gone through all the stress and everything, could then take you to, I don't know, it was stressful and draining then. So you have Parasol BPO to guide and help. We'll be happy to have you on board. And the good thing about this is, while on the job, you could learn some skills and upskill, which I'm trying to do.
Mm.
So there is room for everyone.
Oh, thank you very much, Nkechi. Uko has a question. She says, what if I'm a tier three candidate and just need an international job? I think Nkechi kind of already answered that, which is pick a lane, upskill. All right. If you are tier three, upskill, like find the skill and then double down on that. I think some of the people from the generation program, you guys are here. I saw Miriam and a few other people on the call. Uh, they just finished a 3 month, was it 3 months, 12-week training on digital marketing and everything. So that's another thing. There are people who work with us to train people. We have training partners. We also did another program last year too, paid for by, what's the name? I can't remember the name of the company. A US based company. They paid for 20 women to learn digital marketing. So keep your eyes out. If you're in the WhatsApp group, we'll share these opportunities with you guys first and so on. And, but pick a skill, double down on it. And then from there, we can now come and help you move from tier two to tier one. All right. We can't solve everything. We actually don't have the capacity to. All right. So once again, thanks everybody for coming in this weekend. I appreciate you. Nkechi, thank you so much again for sharing your time with us. And next week too, we'll be having another edition talking to another one of our associates, and we'll see you there. In the meantime, please keep upskilling. It's a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true. Success is when preparation meets opportunity. We are your opportunity, but you need to prepare. All right. So take care. Have a wonderful weekend. And also, may Manchester United beat Chelsea this
All
evening. Amen. So, bye.
right. Bye. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. Bye. Thank you so much.